Hello and welcome to News Now. I am Fidelia Aguncha. May 29 is no longer a public holiday in Nigeria as President Muhammadu Buhari has assented to the Public Holiday Amendment Act. The act declares June 12 of every year a public holiday and Democracy Day. Presidential aide on National Assembly matters, Senator Ita Enang, made the announcement at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. Take a listen.
President Muhammadu Buhari has just assented to the Public Holidays Amendment Act. This act declares June 12 of every year as a public holiday and Democracy Day in Nigeria. It amends the Public Holidays Act, which now removes May 29 of every year as a public holiday and now makes it June 12, the Democracy Day, to be a public holiday, in Nigeria from henceforth. That is the bill just assented to by Mr. President, which we are transmitting.
President Muhammadu Buhari and the All Progressives Congress APC is asking the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal to strike out the petition filed by the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and its presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, challenging the result of the February 23rd presidential election. At the resumed hearing on Monday, counsel to the President Wole Olanikpekun and counsel to the APC Lateef Fagbemi prayed for the dismissal of the entire petition filed by Atiku and his party. Also, counsel to the Independent National Electoral Commission, Yunus Usman, asked the tribunal to dismiss the petition of the opposition party on grounds that it failed to comply with paragraph 18, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act. After listening to the submission of the defense, chairman of the tribunal, Justice Mohammed Garba, adjourned the matter till June 11 to take all pending applications. Meanwhile, the Coalition for Change has withdrawn its petition challenging the victory of President Muhammadu Buhari and the All Progressives Congress in the presidential election. At the resumed sitting of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, counsel to the coalition, Obed Agu, explained that he has filed an application to withdraw the petition. He, however, did not give a reason for the withdrawal. Since the withdrawal was not opposed by the respondent, chairman of the tribunal, Justice Mohammed Garba, subsequently dismissed the petition. With the development, there are now 3 petitions against President Buhari's victory at the February poll. And in other news, President Muhammadu Buhari has accepted the voluntary resignation or retirement of Justice Walter Onoyan, the former Chief Justice of Nigeria. In a statement by presidential spokesperson Garba Shehu, Buhari thanked Onoyan for his service to the country and wished him the best of retirement life. According to the statement, Onoyan's retirement took effect from May 28, 2019. Meanwhile, President Buhari has asked the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Tanko Mohammed, to initiate the process of appointing 5 new justices of the Supreme Court. Now, according to the presidency, the appointment is in line with the government's agenda to reposition the judiciary for greater efficiency. Well, let's now talk security. Troops of the Nigerian army has decimated 9 key members of the Islamic State-backed Boko Haram splinter group, ISWAP. In a statement released on Monday, the army said the slain terrorists were major media personalities of the sect. It also published the names of the neutralized ISWAP leaders. The statement, however, did not mention how the terrorists were killed nor where they were neutralized. The army, however, revealed that ISWAP has admitted to the killing of its members. ISWAP is known for its online media propaganda and quest to maintain a virtual caliphate. And still on security, no fewer than 43 people have been confirmed killed in multiple attacks in Sokoto State, northwest Nigeria. Confirming the attack, the State Police Command said the gunmen who were riding on motorcycles attacked 5 different villages over the weekend. The first attack was in Satiru village, where 18 people were reportedly murdered. The intruders thereafter went on to attack Rukumi, Saje, Jure, and Kalfu villages, killing 25 people in total. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has condemned the attack, vowing that the perpetrators will be brought to book. Well, to legislative matters now, ahead of the inauguration of the 9th Assembly, the National Working Committee of the All Progressives Congress has formally adopted Senator Ovie Omoagege for the position of Deputy Senate President. The party also endorsed Mohammed Wase as Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. In a statement, spokesperson for the party, Lanre Isao Nilu, said the decision was reached after wide consultations with President Muhammadu Buhari and party stakeholders, including APC governors. The APC had earlier announced the duo of Senator Ahmed Lawan and Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila as its candidates for the positions of Senate President and Speaker of the House of Representatives, respectively. Leaders for the 9th Assembly will be selected on Tuesday, June 11th, the same date as the Assembly's inauguration. And in other news, President Muhammadu Buhari has welcomed the support of the Italian government to help recover and repatriate illegally deposited Nigerian assets in foreign countries. President Buhari, while hosting a delegation from the Italian Parliament led by Senator Vito Petrocelli, commended the Italian government for demonstrating what he called open-mindedness in the issue of sending back looted funds. The delegation says they are keen on sustaining the diplomatic relations between Nigeria and Italy and would throw all their weight behind the country to repatriate illegally looted funds.
The role of this delegation is extremely important to maintain the friendly relationship between the two countries, Italy and Nigeria. And also because lately it has been created the Committee on Friendship between the countries. It's an is a bilateral committee that practically houses all the groups of the Italian Parliament and all the political groups, and it would really be happy if this committee could find some sort of correspondence in the Nigerian Parliament, in the Nigerian government, in order so to foster and maintain the friendship and create more synergies between Italy and Nigeria.
What Mr. Petrocelli said regarding the China and the U.S. relationship, commercial wars and so on, and I will be leading a delegation very soon, the Senate delegation to China to discuss Italian interests, and I think this interest I will be very grateful if that interest will be also extended to Nigeria, between China and Nigeria as well.
Well, as part of efforts to create more awareness on the ills of human trafficking in Nigeria, the Director General of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, Julia Okadonli, has led a team of officers to seek the support of some partner agencies in Lagos State, southwest Nigeria. Some of the stakeholders the NAPTIP boss visited include the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, FAN, Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, and International Airport Transport Association, IATA. At the end of the meetings, Okadonli briefed journalists on the outcome.
We've had problems with a lot of travel agencies. They've engaged in illegal activities. Travel agencies no longer arrange tickets, travels and tours. They've now become recruiters of labor. They are now arranging for labor, for jobs for unsuspecting Nigerians out of Nigeria, and that's not their job. Most of the trafficking takes place through the airports, and so it's very important that we partner with FAN, we partner with IATA, and we partner with NCAA as well, because they are the regulators. Now with this partnership, we hope to see a more coordinated fight against human trafficking. We are going to be having a lot of trainings together with all the critical stakeholders in the airline industry, as well as the law enforcement agencies. And that way we ensure that human trafficking is brought to the barest minimum.
Well, you're still watching news now on TV360 Nigeria. We'll bring you more stories after this break. Stay with us.
Corruption not in my country. Madam. Madam, welcome. Okay, madam, no worry. When you deliver the balance, we'll give you the goods.
No problem, no problem. All right, so now well done.
Thank you. Hey, Oga, I still say she don't bring money. Maybe we use this one for him now.
She wants mahogany, not white wood.
Oga, our work now to join wood together, deliver whatever to customer. Put the remaining profit for pocket.
Abba, this is corruption, not in my country. Corruption, not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
ABC
House the crash countries have been rescued alive from the government now signified.
And that our work school ladies from Nigeria where voters are queued to have a ballot.
That election has been postponed and Nigerians are reacting.
For area of Lagos has entered
Some minutes say the incident has been managed.
This morning.
On TV360, we don't just ask the questions. What is wrong with amending the Constitution the way the National Assembly members have been doing it? We seek answers.
Constitution is constituent.
Our problem is not lack of laws. Our problem is lack of the willpower to implement our laws.
Answers that provide clarity.
While we negotiate, we should try to make it a point that the girls must be complete.
The clarity you need to make informed judgment so that you can make the right decision and take action.
People are saying it is you politicians that are responsible for this, that you are the reason why this is happening.
All these dollars that call themselves governors in this country.
I wish we had people like Tony at the National Assembly.
God forbid that I go to join that
TV360, providing clarity to issues.
Welcome back. Well, let's now look at the world of business. With a deadline of 2021, the Nigerian government is working to attain financial inclusion for no fewer than 80% of its adult population. But setbacks in the nation's banking system is threatening the feasibility of this goal. Adesha Odushaga has been finding out what these challenges are and just how the government can address them.
Financial exclusion is the unavailability of financial services to people living with little or no income at all. This group of people are mostly found in rural areas dominating the informal sector of the economy, where financial services may not be needed at all to survive. In Nigeria, 36.8% adults are financially excluded, according to the 2018 Access to Financial Service Survey, conducted by Enhancing Financial Innovation and Access, (EFINA), with the higher figure recorded in the northern part of the country. Analysts have attributed cultural beliefs to an increase in the financial exclusion amidst other factors.
There are religious and cultural issues that have to do with some women not getting involved in any form of economic activity. And that could certainly constrain them from having access to financial services. A lot of financial institutions are concentrated in urban areas, and the Nigerian population is still relatively largely rural. So you realize that those who live in the rural areas do not even have any form of interface with financial institutions, because financial institutions do not count and consider them economically viable to set up operation in those locations.
Excess bank charges, long processes to open a bank account, have continued to drive people away from getting involved with banking services, one of which could be a contributing factor to a decrease in financial inclusion.
I'm aware that central bank has actually come up with a segmented or revised account opening conditionalities or terms that created a lot of headroom for those who do not have the conventional means of identification to open accounts. It's just that some of those accounts will have some level of restrictions or limitations to their usage. Deposits in bank account cannot be considered as a receipt of payment. And there's no justification anywhere in the world why the federal government will impose stamp duties on deposits made in people's bank accounts. Because when you do that, what we are doing, you are taxing capital. You are not taxing income. And if a customer has frequency of deposits, particularly for those who are depositing small volume cash, like 2,000 or so, they will be discouraged from going to the banking system.
In a bid to control the growth rate of financially excluded Nigerians and avoid weakening the nation's monetary policy, the Central Bank of Nigeria has set a target to achieve 80% financial inclusion for adults in 2021.
I think Central Bank at some point pointed at the level of insecurity, the pervasiveness of insecurity in the Northeast, and now it's included in the Northwest, and we also have to deal with the issues in the North Central, are contributing to the difficulty in meeting the financial inclusiveness target of the Central Bank.
The Apex Bank has also listed about 5 tools to drive financial inclusion in the rural areas, which include financial literacy, mobile money operation, know your customer requirement, MSME development fund, and agent banking.
Once they have their telephone, monies can be transferred to them through their telephone, and they will take the telephone to those agent banks, and the agent banks will pay them cash, will redeem the cash made to those beneficiaries, and then they will recoup or get refunded by the principal bank. That's the way it works when you talk of agent banking. So those agencies I mentioned, like pharmacy shops, chemists, babas, will act as agent banks.
To actualize its target of financial inclusion, experts say the federal government, financial influencers as well as employers of labor must embrace the Agent Bank initiative, which could in turn improve the standard of living across the nation. Adeshawa Dushoga, TV360, Lagos.
Well, Nigeria was responsible for 1 out of every 4 reported cases of piracy in 2018. Now, this is according to the latest report by Alliance Global Corporate and Specialty Group. The group says increased activity in the Gulf of Guinea is responsible for Nigeria replacing Indonesia as a top global hotspot for piracy. It adds that the number of piracy incidents around the world increased by 12% year-on-year to 201 in 2018, and Nigeria makes up 48 of that number. The report also states that Nigeria's ports saw the highest number of reported cases of stowaways on commercial vessels. And still on business, Oando's annual general meeting scheduled to hold on Tuesday might not go ahead as planned following a suspension order by the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. Citing an ex parte order by a federal high court in Lagos, the capital market regulator, in a statement released on Monday, directed that the meeting should be suspended until further notice to allow parties in the matter maintain status quo. The regulator added that it would update stakeholders and the public on the outcome of the ongoing litigation. Last month, SEC ordered Oando's Group Chief Executive Officer Wale Tinubu and other affected board members to resign over alleged financial impropriety by the company. Well, we'll take a short break here and join Oyin Adekunle for the latest in oil price and stock market review. Stay with us.
You're welcome. There are more losses at the bad times for stocks in the NSE continued in the first trading day of the new week, leaving many investors wondering when the bulls will get off their long sleep. Negative sentiments have persisted for 5 days now, and this has resulted in the further dragging of key market indicators down by 0.36%. Consequently, the market capitalization also dropped by 48 billion naira to close at 13.402 trillion naira. Some of the leading stocks which tumbled the most under selling pressure were Unilever Nigeria PLC, Dangote Flour Mills PLC, both of the consumer goods sector, beg your pardon, and the impact of sliding markets was also felt by the cement company of Northern Nigeria PLC and MTN. Conversely, we see Forte Oil leading the best performing stocks today as the value of its share price increased from 25 naira 75 kobo to 26 naira and 5 kobo, and that gain is equivalent to 2.91%. UACN PLC and UACN Property Development Company PLC also posted gains, and not overlooking Guarantee, which came third on the chart, having chalked up increased worth 0.33%. In summary, as opposed to the surge in previous trading session, the volume of shares traded this time decreased to 247.392 million, and the value of shares fell sharply as well to 3.484 billion naira, and we can blame that on sell-offs. On global markets, FTSE closed in the greens, and the Dow Industrial Average is also on the rise, recording 6 straight gains to mark its best gain of 2019. The positive trend also spread to Nikkei. Chinese markets rode on the release of higher than expected May trade surplus. That's it on Stock Market Review today. It's back to Fidelia for the rest of the news.
Well, thank you, Oyi, for that update. It seems the NSE is still very much in the red days, and investors will be hoping for a return of the bulls in the markets.
Indeed.
Well, still to come is news from the world of sports and the foreign scene after this break. Welcome back. To the foreign scene, gunmen have slaughtered 59 people, 95 people actually, in an overnight attack on a Dogon community in central Mali. Authorities in the region say the village, which had about 300 people, has been virtually wiped out, as many others sustained severe injuries from the attack. The attack appears to be the latest incident in a cycle of violence in central Mali and ethnic mosaic. The tit-for-tat began when a predominantly Fulani jihadist group led by preacher Amadou Kufa surfaced in the region and started targeting the Bambara and Dogon ethnic groups. The Fulani group are primarily cattle breeders and traders, while the Bambara and Dogon are majorly farmers. Well, to the world of sport, Novak Djokovic remains the world #1 in tennis, with Rafael Nadal trailing behind. Now, this is according to the latest rankings released by the Association of Tennis Professionals, ATP. This is despite Nadal's victory in the French Open concluded over the weekend. In the new ranking, the leading 8 positions were unchanged, with French Open losing finalist Dominic Thiem fourth behind Roger Federer, Russia's Karen Khachanov and Italy's Fabio Fognini entered the top 10 at 9th and 10th. Respectively. While Aston Villa has announced the signing of Anwar El Ghazi from Lille on a 4-year deal. This follows his successful spell at Villa Park last season. The 24-year-old, who will join the Midland Club for an undisclosed fee, finished the campaign with 6 goals in 37 appearances in all competition. The Netherlands international scored Villa's opening goal in their 2-1 victory over Derby County in the Championship playoff final last month. El Ghazi is Villa's second signing of the closed season, following last week's addition of Birmingham City forward Jota. And that's it on News Now. Thank you so much for being a part of it. I am Fidelia Aguncha. Bye for now.